Om Shanti, and a very warm welcome to everyone. Today is our first Friday talk of 2022. I hope you've all had a lovely break over the Christmas time. And today's topic is reflections and resolutions. Our guest panelists are Sister Indu and Brother Paramjit. So I'd like to welcome you both. The past 2 years has given all of us moments and times to reflect on our health, on our time, our finances, and the people around us. And I'm sure everyone, even within the audience, has had the opportunity to do some reflection of the past few months or years. And had the opportunity to really think about what is important to them. So today we're going to start off with a few easy questions, and then we'll dive deep into the topic of reflections and resolutions. So my first question to both Indu and Paramjit would be, describe the past year in 3 words.
Paramjit, you go first.
Oh, 3 words.
3 words to describe 2021.
Challenging, intriguing, and also enlightening.
Okay, my 3 words for 2021 would be I've been safe and hopeful, and 2021 has been quieter than most years in the past. So these 3 words: safe, hopeful, and quiet.
Excellent, thank you. I'd also like to say to the audience that while we go through these certain questions, feel free to answer them for yourselves as well. It's a great exercise to do for yourselves, so grab a pen and paper, and you can go through some of the questions and reflections yourselves. The next question, one event in 2020 that you've enjoyed.
I'll go first. In 2021, we celebrated 50 years of foreign service. The Brahma Kumaris celebrated 50 years of service outside of India. And so that was the most eventful program this year. We were actively engaged in it, and we were also observing what service had taken place throughout the UK in the past 50 years. So I think that was the most enjoyable and most eventful event of 2021.
Thank you.
I don't think I could highlight a particular event, but it's definitely been good in the sense that it's taken me out of my comfort zone. So the whole year, I would say, it's been very eventful, and it's been an exciting year.
Just to touch upon that, coming out your comfort zone, has that been challenging, or have you found struggle or enjoyment in coming out of your comfort zone?
I think before, the last 2 years, I think for most people have been quite revealing. And I have to say, 2 years ago, I would say my life was very, very easy, so straightforward. And I'm thinking, life can't get any better than this. Then all of a sudden, I was thrown out of my sort of, you can say, the comfort zone. And I discovered things about myself that I wouldn't have discovered otherwise. So in that sense, it's been quite telling on myself. But at the same time, I think I've definitely matured more spiritually, but also learned and discovered a lot about myself in a positive way.
For me, the past 2 years actually, up until 2 years ago, you could say I literally ran away from technology. I always thought this is not my forte, it's not my department, it's not important, it's not for me. And then since COVID, I've had to learn to embrace technology. Otherwise, I would have been left somewhere. I don't know where. But I've had to learn to embrace technology. That's one thing. And what we had thought of as service, what we classified as service, courses, classes, meeting people, going to programs, this, that, the other, all of that changed. Service then became, especially since COVID started, service took on a different form. And service became sitting in a room in front of a laptop or in front of a tablet or whatever, and sharing knowledge. So that was very different. But it's like, it wasn't that different because the knowledge was still the same. So I've always taken support of knowledge, regardless of regardless of external changes. So even when I went to Nigeria, somebody asked me, "Oh, how was it?" Place was different, challenges were different, but the knowledge was the same. The same knowledge that I used in London, the same knowledge I used in Nigeria, same knowledge I used during COVID. So one thing that has been stable throughout is the knowledge has not changed. And that is one thing I really love about this knowledge, about spirituality. It doesn't change. It's always there as a support. Spirituality is our support, not external factors, COVID or no COVID.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. And yeah, definitely agree that the foundational principles of spirituality have always stayed the same. But I think a lot of people have embraced that in their lives over the past 2 years. What has been for you guys, I'm sure like me and like a lot of others who are listening, there's been many lessons that we've learned for the past few years, but what has one that, stands out for you guys?
I think it's paying attention to the self. It's making the self very strong, because you never know when situations come that can pull you in all different directions. But if your stage is strong, you can cope. And I've discovered that all those years of, practicing early morning meditation, that personal attention on the self has paid off. And I feel that I think I'm still emerging. I haven't emerged out of it yet. I'm still emerging much stronger, because I've learned how to be completely free from any support. Whereas in the past, I used to come to the center in the morning, open up and have that interaction. And when you're in that group gathering, meditation can be very powerful. But suddenly you're in lockdown and you can't go to the center, and it all has to be done for home. I would say my practice has actually become stronger, and that's helped me in my everyday life.
For myself, I would say three things. One is that everybody you talked to spoke about COVID. It was like there was no person you could have a conversation with without mentioning, either they would mention COVID or I would mention COVID. And one thing I found is that I would definitely try to have COVID-free conversations. Means where there's no mention of the word. But what I found is that people listen to the news a lot and people relate things, and this happened and that happened, and you have to do this if you want to travel. So during that time I thought, okay, I can't stop them, but I would go in. I would just be quiet. I would be, well, okay, because one thing I found is the more you listen to the news, then you feel it to be so true. And sometimes I found that you speak to one person and they have their impression of what they hear on the news, and another person has a different impression, different outlook. So within all of that, I would say that the news is creating a lot of chaos. But within all of that, I learned to remain quiet internally, no opinion, nothing. And then the second thing I learned from the past year is to appreciate. Because like Paramjit Pai said, all our supports were taken away from us and taken away from everybody in the world. And because these supports were taken away, you start to appreciate everything you have. I would never have said that I would appreciate technology, but it's like I'm saying thank you to technology for keeping us in touch. Because as human beings, we are social people and we need that human contact for our well-being. We can't stay shut in a room for 24/7 for days on end. We do need some personal contact. And so appreciating whoever I met, actually. And even though the number of people you're meeting has decreased, but you appreciate them and appreciate everything. And yeah, so this was the two things I would say I've learned from the past year. One is keeping quiet, and the second is appreciating. And with these two things, I saw the result was I was conserving my energy. So that's what I appreciated with 2021.
Amazing. Absolutely. I feel like we've all had to deal with all of our support systems going away, like myself working from home. And we've been kind of forced to come front to front with our insecurities and our fears over the past few months. But definitely, we have also been able to appreciate all of the little things that we're able to do. Like I used to appreciate going to the supermarket. I never did that before, the pandemic, and now it's just a joyous opportunity.
It was like an adventure.
Absolutely. So keeping that in mind, we've had to come face to face with our insecurities, with our fears. What have you done in the past year or 2 years to have more self-care for yourselves? What new self-care sort of techniques have you taken on in your lives?
Okay, Paramjit, you go first.
A few years ago, I noticed that my waistline was expanding, and I was concerned that I would have to buy some more trousers in order to accommodate the waistline. And then suddenly my role changed. I went out and about, and I was doing a lot more active exercises. It was natural, I was going up and down because I'm in the building trade. and it's been very, very beneficial for me. I found my waistline is actually reduced. So in that sense, physically, the body seems to be much stronger. It's much leaner. It's much fitter. So that's one benefit on the physical side. But mentally, I've also seen for myself that the last 2 years has really made me much stronger how I see myself and how I see others. I've noticed that I've become much more sort of detached from people. I don't interfere in people's affairs. I allow them to sort of be who they want to be, and especially with my own sort of immediate family. I love them to bits, but when whatever they want to do, it's their choice. Whereas in the past, I would have had a father's a sort of hand in this and said, perhaps you should try this. Now there's none of that. It's just like, as you said, this word acceptance has come in a lot more. So I'm much more easygoing with myself and also with others.
The self-care program that you're talking about, what extra activity did we do? So one thing I did, and I haven't done it this past month, but we did it before that, was every evening go for a walk. So myself and another sister, we would go for a walk every evening. And why do I call that self-care? Because during our walking, we would have a lot of spiritual chit-chat. And this in the month of December, because of the cold weather, we didn't go. And a few days ago, I was thinking, I'm actually missing that spiritual chit-chat. We would talk about how we handle situations, what happened in the day, what new things we learned, what new things we heard. And so that was very, I would even use the word exciting. And so that was, yes, definitely during the past year, I think it must be more than a year, daily evening walks with spiritual chit chat was the self-care program that was implemented.
Amazing. It's like your daily reflection on the day. But it's great. I think a lot of the times we can do that with ourselves, but having company makes it all in all better. Okay. Have you learned any new skills in the past year or two? And if so, what are they?
I learned a little bit more in technology.
And for you, Paramjit?
I think definitely the art of communication. Before it was, I like face-to-face. I like that human interaction that takes place. I've always enjoyed that. But now there are different ways of communicating. So, and one of the ways I'm sort of really experimenting a lot is can I connect people with my thoughts? Sometimes my mobile phone is not available, or I don't have other access. So I'm thinking, can I touch that individual? Can I touch that soul with my thoughts? So I think definitely improved my communication skills, but I've come some way. But I think there's a little bit of more room for improvement.
Have you seen results with your mind communication?
Yes, I think it's I don't have to say so much. Indu Ben was saying earlier on, I've conserved a lot of energy. I have seen that for myself. When you communicate at a thought level, it's like you're saving yourself a lot of aggravation, a lot of time and energy. And you're saying, okay, I'm coming to you, or please look at this. And people do respond. It's amazingly the number of times at just that moment, or in around that period, there seems to be a sort of an answer. So I'm going to try and explore it even more.
Excellent. I would like to just add to that. My concern was also that how many, because we know so many people, so many, like must be 200, 300, 400, whatever. And how do you reach out to so many individuals? And if by chance you forget somebody, or you haven't spoken to them for weeks, you haven't seen them for weeks, then you think or you worry about them. Are they feeling lonely or offended or waiting for your call or wondering why you're not calling? So these thoughts used to be there. And so then I wasn't, I didn't like these thoughts in myself. But to call so many people was a lot of energy. And one thing I found is that when you call somebody, a lot of people wouldn't stop talking. And my energy was being used in this a lot. So I decided, okay, only to call if and when necessary, but to send good wishes, good thoughts to whoever I knew who needed that comfort, that support, whatever. Like I know, even now I know there are souls, friends who have COVID, and I don't call them. I don't pick up the phone and call them. And the reason is, like Paramjit was saying, thought energy. So with your thought energy, what are you saying? Is get well soon. Get really, really well. Because I know COVID takes it out of people. It doesn't just take a couple of weeks, it takes months to come back to your normal self. It takes at least a couple of months. And so my thoughts, I would go through my phone, and the names I would see in my phone, like consciously, I would send that person comforting good wishes.
Amazing. And I think, yeah, the world and all of us definitely need that power. And you can sense that, and you can feel the vibrations when that's coming to you. We're looking at reflections. How important is it for you guys to reflect on your life, your day? How often do you do that? And is it a significant part of your spiritual journey, reflection?
For myself, definitely. Throughout the day, I'm constantly checking myself. Every situation that comes or something happens, that I'm asking myself the question, what have I learned from this situation? What has this individual come to teach me? So there is this checking process. And it's only when I start analyzing myself, I'm checking myself, do I discover what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, or that needs areas of improving. And I think the other benefit of that is that it's allowed me to live in the moment and not get caught up what's happened in the past, or think too much about the future. I mean, there's so much things happening. I can't believe how my time just flies by during the whole day, the moment I get up to the moment I go to bed. And yet within that time, I haven't got time to think too much. It's like, stop thinking and just pay attention to myself. And so if sometimes I do think a little bit too much, and I'm not thinking too much, like thinking for hours and hours. It's literally a few minutes. I'm thinking, why am I thinking like that? So I just stop, and then I move on. And that's been really helpful to me, is this constant checking. And I don't think it's I just check at the end of the day. It's continuous.
Is it natural and something that just happens automatically, or have you had to work? Because it's not natural for people to self-reflect if you haven't worked at it. So is it something that you've worked with, or does it just come naturally to you?
I think maybe it's a combination of the two, but I think I've had to pay more attention to myself. I would say, for most people, it's more about practice. We all have this skill, but it's just a question of how far I want to develop that skill. And for myself, I think this practice of checking myself, I'm always going into introspection and all. Did I do?
Okay, you asked the question, that should we be reflecting? For me, the answer is reflection is necessary. The reason why we're reflecting on what has happened, the past, is because that becomes our measuring stick, you would say, to see how much improvement has happened. Because if I don't have something to look back to and to see whether I've, like in certain situations, if I've reacted differently or if I've improved, that I haven't reacted, I've remained still, stable, non-reactive. So then you would give yourself marks that I've come this much far. I've come a little further on the path of spirituality. So reflection is necessary on any path. And when you come to a crossroads, you have to stop. When you come to traffic lights, you have to stop. You have to stop, and with the traffic lights, you have to wait. And so that minute, that moment that you reflect, where are you going? You reflect where you're heading, and you also reflect how far you've come. Because if I don't realize how far I have come, then I might lose hope in myself. But always see how far you've come on your spiritual journey. And then the future or the destination doesn't seem so far away because you're seeing that you've done well so far. Okay, I think there's issues here that it's frozen. The screen is frozen.
Thank you. Would you say that reflection without the desire to change is useless?
I would say dangerous. I would use the word dangerous. I see people reflecting on their past and becoming disheartened that maybe they've lost a job, lost a loved one, not moved forward, or gone backwards, lost finances, whatever. So reflection without an aim. You're looking at the past, what happened yesterday or the day before or last year, but there's no aim for your future, then it becomes very dangerous, because I notice that people become very disheartened very easily. They don't have the mental strength to cope with whatever's happening. Loss of a job, loss of a family member. It takes a lot of mental strength. And because our mental strength is also connected with our emotional capacity, our emotional strength. So reflection without any aim is dangerous.
Now, self-reflection for a lot of people it's hard to come face to face with your insecurities, to look at yourself is not as easy as, you know, people who've been in spirituality for a long time say it is, because it's hard to look at your demons and try and solve them. So what have you done to have the strength to look and go into reflection without being sort of disheartened or without feeling defeated?
I would say the power of our study, our regular everyday spiritual study, gives me the power or the strength to cope with the demons. And the demons are not just in the past. The demons are still here right with me right now even. And so I don't just think of the demons in the past. We're conquering the demons daily. It's our demon daily conquering practice that we have to do. And the study helps us a great deal, a lot. Paramjit Bhai, you want to answer that question?
Yes, I think reflection is important, but what's helped me is I found that I was doing okay. You know, I got into a routine, and it was a pretty routine, and it was very easy to follow. But then I thought, I'm not moving forward. I'm happy, I'm peaceful, but I'm not really moving up to the next level. And the drama has been very kind to me, that it's taken me out from what I was doing, and it's thrown me out into that jungle. And boy, have I met some people who really sort of pushed my buttons. But those very people have made me the person that I'm today. I would say much, much stronger. So I'm reflecting on the sense that how grateful I am that I haven't just sat back on my laurels and just waited till I sort of passed away. And I said, well, I never hurt anyone. I was always happy. But did I really flourish? And I give you an example. I'm working with a lot of subcontractors who are Punjabis, and they speak Punjabi as they come from Punjab. And I've had to speak with them in the same language. But it's interesting how much slang they use and how much is like do. And I thought, if I started to speak like them, I'm not showing the respect. And first I did say do, it's like you. And then I realized, I should speak to them with the utmost respect. So then I said, tusi, yeah, tusi ki kya chaਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ? It's like suddenly my interaction with them changed, and their interaction with me changed. There was so much more respect reciprocated. And I thought, wow, what does that happen? It's just reflection of how I'm communicating and interacting with people. And just a shift in one word or a tone of your language, your words, or your body language can have a huge positive benefit, not only on the self, but those around you as well. So on that respect, I say, yeah, thank you. Thank you, drama.
Amazing. And this doesn't take us nicely to our second part of the title, is resolutions. Now, it's January. Everyone's taken many resolutions. I've joined the gym again for like the 15th time for a month. So what has been your resolutions, and have you been successful with your resolutions?
I'll give that to Indu Ben first.
I didn't want to make the same resolution that I've been making in the past, however many years. Lose weight, this, that, the other. I didn't want to make that resolution. I wanted to make a different resolution, and I wanted to make a resolution in which there was some personal development. And so the resolution I've made is, I don't know if I should be saying it even, but to be more honest with myself and with everyone. I'm not saying I'm dishonest in any way, but even more honest, more clear, more clean, more clarity, all of these things, a transparency, if you want to call it that. And so, yes, I have made a resolution. So far, I've been okay. I haven't had any issues, but like there's this story, and there's this boy who's talking to God, and he's saying to God, I need to, lose weight. I need to do this. I need to do that. And so far I've been successful, but God, I'm going to get out of bed now. So I need your help. I don't know if you've heard this story. I think most people have, that he's saying all of these things. And then he says to God, my day is about to begin. So far I'm okay, but be with me the rest of the day. And so I've decided to make my resolutions based on personal growth or development, or whatever you want to call it. And I've noticed with the other resolutions, that happens throughout the whole year. It's like on Monday I'll start a diet, next week I'll start this. And So that happens throughout the whole year. And within that, there's ups and downs in terms of success. But my inner, call it resolution, or even call it determined thought, call it desire, call it whatever you want. So far, touch wood, I've been okay.
I don't make resolutions. I gave up making resolutions a long time ago because, like majority of people, you make a promise or you say you're going to do this or that, and then it's only a matter of time before you give up. But there's one thing I have sort of give myself a name. Whatever I do, I want to do the best that I can, and I shouldn't have any regrets. Once the time has passed away or whatever I had to do, I had to do. But to give my very best. And Indu Ben was talking about the aspect of being honest. And I think in that respect, it's like, if I'm honest with myself and I can be very sincere to myself and give my very best, knowing I have given my best, and it may not be what others expected, or maybe they anticipated more. But I know from my own heart, I have given everything that I could have given, and I can walk away with my head held high. And for me, that is one of the strongest commitment that I can make to myself. So that's my ongoing resolution.
Yeah, thank you. Change and self-progress is necessary. A lot of the times when major events happen in our lives, they force us to make sort of drastic changes, like COVID has forced us to change our lives in a certain way. Now, how do I go about having the self-progress without, relying on major events that are, that are pushing me to change? How can I change on a continuously, sustainable way without going through, ups and downs?
I just, people talk about COVID and the impact it's made on their life. I'm going to be very honest here. It hasn't made any difference to my life whatsoever. My life is the same before COVID as it is now. And I think that's probably because I've realized that my life is very simple. It was simple before. And coming into this, I realized that I'm not dependent on so many factors that many people have become used to. So for me, if something is taken away, I've never felt it as if I've missed anything. So in that context, it's like it's business as usual. But I think it's paying attention. It's not something that you can just do that. You do have to pay attention to it, and you do have to work at it. It's like you were saying, to go to the gym, it requires commitment, and to be that super athlete in every field, you have to be completely dedicated. And I think that means there needs to be determination. That needs to be sort of an awareness. Look, ultimately, I'm doing it for my benefit. And if I become strong, I can then help others. So this commitment to the self has to be very sincere, and it has to be very natural. If I'm forcing myself to do it, then it would be a waste of time, because it's only a matter of time before we give up. It's like people who go to the gym, and then how long will they continue? It becomes like a chore. For me, where I am, I'm doing all these exercises. It's part of my job. And yet the outcome is it gives me a healthy lifestyle. And that's just the way it is. So I think we do have to work at it, but we need to pay attention to this. And if we can, just push the boat out a little bit more. Don't just sit back and say, yeah, I'm okay. Just see how far you can go.
I liked what Sangam said, the way he put the question. Continuous, sustainable progress. Very nicely put. So how does this happen? This happens when I continuously follow a routine, which is only some parts of our routine or some parts of our daily timetable are specifically for self-progress. For example, meditating early in the morning, our daily spiritual study, reflecting on the past hour, the past few hours, sitting in meditation in the evening, reflecting on our day. All of these parts of our daily timetable add up to continuous, sustainable progress. Sustainable because I'm not depending on anything. I'm not needing anything. It's just me and myself. And because of that, then there will always be progress. It's like you're moving along, like that story of the hare and the tortoise. So in this, the tortoise, steady, continuous, sustainable movement, sustainable progress is through our daily routine, I think. It might seem ordinary because we've been doing it for so many years, but it is necessary also. Because that becomes my support, the routine. And that is what gives me stability to progress also. So it's a very good question. Continuous, sustainable progress.
Sangam, I just recently had a young person who was forwarded by City Council for an apprenticeship. So I said, okay, yeah, we'll give you a week's trial because I'm part of the council. And I said, look, you need to be ready by 8 o'clock. Somebody will pick you up, but they will not wait. If you're not there by 8 o'clock, they're not going to wait and they're going to go. And the person replied, oh, yes, I'm used to this. I've had this before where I've had to get up and I'd be on time. And first day, he was on time. Second day, he gave up. So one of the first things that we got to do is we do need to create some routine. We need to create some discipline as well. I mean, once you've got the basics right, you've got the foundation right, you can build on that. And I say, you look at the most successful people in the world. And the one thing that you'll see with them is they have got a very, what I would call the 3 Ds: discipline, dedication, and determination. And if you can put those factors into your life,
You're winning.
There's no limits. There's no limits.
Yes, very true. So I understand I need to change. I have the determined will to change. So when I do give up, or when certain things happen where I'm not able to sustain it, what am I supposed to do then? I've understood it, but why does it sometimes take a long time for the change to happen? Does it mean I've not truly understood something? Or what is it?
I would say our eyes go away from the aim. Our focus, the realization is there, the understanding is there, the desire is there, like you said, the determined will is there, but my eyes stray away from the aim and I become more interested in the sidelines, or you would say the side scenes, or other attractions are pulling me. There's a lot of things out there which attract and take us away from our goal. And so to keep your eyes on the aim, to realize that time is short is also necessary in this. That urgency won't come until there's a feeling of a deadline. I notice that some people work very well under pressure, or they work better when they know they have to do it by a certain time. And so here also within spirituality, I feel that people do say to me, I'm very spiritual, but there's a lack of that urgency. There's no feeling that, if not now, then never. And so, yes, if all the ingredients are there, but there's a deadline as well.
Absolutely. I'm definitely one of those people. I tend to work better when there's a pressure on me,
I've seen
uh,
you.
which is always kind of nice. So, okay, let's move on to the future. What I know we don't have a crystal ball or anything, but what are your thoughts for the coming year?
I am very not just hopeful, but I think this will be a very good, very wonderful year that's coming ahead. Means we've faced, I wouldn't say we've faced the worst. Who knows, there might be worse to come. But my feelings for 2022 are that it will be a very beautiful year. We will learn a lot, we will progress a lot. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about the whole world. There will be something for everyone. It's like when you hit rock bottom, then there's only one way to go. When you've touched the bottom, then you can only go upwards. And so that is the stage that we have reached. This world has hit rock bottom, or it's come near to rock bottom. And so I feel that everybody's working collectively, regardless of whether they're on a spiritual journey or not. It doesn't matter. We're all on a journey. And we're only looking forwards and upwards. And that's what will help us get through everything.
I
That's
think I think definitely there's a spiritual awakening taking place.
yeah.
I think people are becoming much more aware what is their role in this world, and they're looking and questioning their lifestyle, which can only be good for everyone. Because when we look at the problems that we have with the environment, climate change, and people are now beginning to question, the sustainability of this lifestyle of this modern world. They're going back to and realizing actually we don't need all of that. When I hear that the French government has banned polythene packaging for food, and I thought, wow. I remember when I was young, you could buy cucumbers without any plastic wrapping at all, it seems like we've come full circle where people are beginning to sort of question the modernity of life and saying, well, is it relevant to us? So on one hand, I see there's a new self awakening in all of us, but at the same time, I also see a lot of upheaval that will happen, and I think we have to look at the the positive outcome from that is that sometimes people have to come to the precipice to actually make that change. I think there are very few who actually have the foresight and wisdom to change themselves before a situation. They can actually see it coming. So I say that there are a lot of people in the world who are making a real positive change, and they're inspiring many others. So like Indu Ben, I also have high hopes for this year, more in the spiritual context, but we'll wait and see.
I think for me, to put into one sentence, I would say the best is yet to come. That's the attitude I've inbuilt into myself, that the best is yet to come.
Amazing. Absolutely. I think definitely what I can take back and summarize from the conversation we had is that self-reflection is an enjoyable and a fun exercise that we can do, continuously, and it happens quite naturally. It's such a good thing that we have the ability to reflect on my conditionings, the way I'm thinking, the way I was brought up, and be able to change that. That is in our control, to be able to change the conditionings and the ways I'm thinking, in order to be better every single day. So to close the event, I'd like Paramjit Bhai to take us on a short meditative experience.
Okay. So whatever we're doing, let's stop doing that. Let's just put things down. Let's relax the body. Let's put 2 feet on the floor and keep our back upright. Just turn our attention inwards. Just become the observer of our thoughts. Imagine I'm looking at the screen of my mind and I see so many images. I just stand back and I just let them go. And I just create a new thought. I sit here on my throne of self-respect. I let go of the influences of the past, of the outside world. And I just get to know the person that I am, the real me. I let go of all the labels, the roles, the identities. And I just come to the essence of who I am. I am peace. I see myself as this amazing star that shines brightly with virtues. And within me, there are abundance of attainments where nothing is lacking. And I tap into these attainments. And I experience the true qualities of the self. I am this wonderful soul, this infinitesimal point of light who plays many roles, has worn many costumes, now just sits in the company of itself. And I accept myself unconditionally. And I remain seated on this throne that gives me power to rule over myself. I am a fortress of peace, powerful, unshakable. But I also have the power to donate all these virtues that are within me. I send out these rays of peace, rays of love, to all the souls in the world, to the elements. And I connect with the one who has made me this, the Supreme Soul, the Father of all souls, the Almighty Authority. And I just stay under his canopy of protection, his canopy of love, his canopy of blessings. And I share these blessings with the whole world. This is who I am. I am a benevolent soul, a peaceful soul. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Paramjit Bhai. Thank you, Indu Ben. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
To you guys. And now we will have our events team who will tell you all about our next forthcoming events.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Induben and Paramjit Bhai and Sangam, for a wonderful evening, the most enjoyable. Our Friday series continues with next week. We have a very a delightful gentleman who's going to be joining us by the name of BK Shantanu. He's from our head office, our headquarters in Mount Abu. So if you all like to join us, the topic is Mood Over Matter, same time, same place, 7:00 p.m. till 8 on the 14th of January. So we will see you then. Thank you very much. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Om Shanti.